What was that? Look, I brought you on for this 100th episode so things could go smooth, and you give me this? I told you nothing over the top. All right, look. Oh, okay, look, I know you're sorry, but look, do you have another intro at least? Oh, you do? Okay, all right, go ahead and play it.
From the highways of America, here's the podcast where we talk politics, a little entertainment, some culture, and this and that, from the road to your ears. This is TrendChat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
And welcome. We are finally here. This is the 100th episode of TrendChat. I'm your host, Brian Bledsoe. And as always, if you want to connect with us, whether on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, it's all the same name, TrendChat 24/7. So first off, I just want to say I appreciate everyone that has been listening since day one, episode 1. And if you maybe listen only once, but I appreciate everyone that has been on this ride with me, hearing these growing pains, kind of like this intro and the intro in the beginning. But hey, we're still trying to work the kinks out, I guess. But and also this intro is a whole lot better, right? So that's who we're gonna speak with the person who contributed to that intro. Also, I wanted to say, as well as thank you to everyone that's been listening and that has been on. I just want to keep saying that. I know I've already repeated it. Look, I'm shocked, surprised, really personally, that we're at 100. So I never thought I'd be doing one, but I'm going to say that in these interviews. I'm not going to keep saying that, but I really am. I never thought I'd be doing a podcast, but yet here we are talking about, we were at 100. So I didn't think, as you can hear, I'm flabbergasted about it, but I appreciate everyone listening. And I just can't thank you enough. And given the fact that we weren't on last week, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people noticed all the memes and the countdown of the top 10 most played episodes, and just seeing how many episodes we had, and then just looking at the ones that was played the most, and that was pretty cool, little countdown as far as looking at the numbers, and that was great. So, but like I said, we are TrendChat, and we do want to hit on a couple of things that happened last week, especially. And first, one thing was about this whole deal with Roseanne. And
hello.
Hello. Oh, hey, this is executive producer of TrendChat. Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah. Now, hey, only got a little bit of time. Just want to say congratulations on that 100th episode.
Hey, I appreciate it. I just said, hey, I'm surprised that we're here, and
we're just as surprised as you are. You have no clue how surprised we are. But hey, you keep it up, buddy, and by 200 episodes, who knows? You might even get paid. How's that sound? Yeah.
Oh, hey, I love that. Hey, since I got you on, I just want to.
I gotta go. Real busy over here at TrendChat. Gotta go book some more guests, book some travel, make some more shirts, check some emails. Write some emails, make some calls, edit some sound, some of the things other than yapping into a microphone for 45 minutes. But, you're doing a great job, and we'll see you at 200. You're right.
Okay. But, hey, since I got you on, I just want to ask, hey, would you want to do that interview, I guess, one day? But, okay. Well, that was the executive producer of TrendChat. We said we are going to get him on, right? And there he was. So might not never get him back on, but hey, there he was. But where was I? Where was I? Yeah, Roseanne. Okay, so yeah, so Roseanne got her show canceled, which I guess I can just go through all this pretty quickly. But one, I don't think anyone should have expected it to be on for years to come. But so she had a tweet basically calling Valerie Jarrett, who was a senior advisor to the Obama administration, called her ape. In the same day, her show was canceled. And it's funny, in that whole story, the double standard was shown immediately that day and the day afterwards. And on Jimmy Kimmel, that later that night, he basically did the same thing Roseanne did and calling Ted Cruz an animal. And he did this, white man calling a minority an animal. Did the exact same thing. And there was no outcry about that. Didn't hear nothing about that really. Not nearly to the point of how much they talked about Roseanne. But yet, I don't think he even apologized, but I think they're going to do like a one-on-one basketball game out of it. So, and then Samantha Bee went along and called Ivanka Trump, a very vulgar term, and that got a little outrage, a little bit of backlash. And so, but she apologized. But Jimmy Kimmel, Samantha Bee still have their show, so it really just highlighted the double standard, like immediately. But now, another thing was, I kind of paused because I was thinking about the next thing because I'm looking at it. President Trump met with Kim Kardashian and about prison reform, and I remember everyone was kind of like wondering what she had to do with prison reform and kind of mocking it. And she was there on behalf of Alice Johnson, who was in prison, and trying to see about getting her pardon or getting her sentence commuted or whatnot. And, I can say it was because now she is, had a sentence commuted and she was pardoned. So I guess that was a win. It actually worked. And, I could talk about later on sometime on future episodes about, liberals probably could get more out of President Trump if they really calmed down and really thought about meeting with them, whether good or bad. But, I'm not going to talk about that right now because we got a lot ahead. Also, President Trump disinvited the players from the Philadelphia Eagles, and mainly because a few of them was going to show up, and so he disinvited them from coming to the White House. And NBA Finals are going on. It looks like the Golden State Warriors are going to win, and then LeBron James basically, he came out and said what everyone already knew, that neither one of them want to go to the White House either. When hearing about the whole thing with the Eagles, we knew that. Golden State didn't go last year. We all know, LeBron hates Trump, so they weren't going to go. But they felt like, especially LeBron, felt like he had to get up and make that known to everyone who, news that everyone already knows. So, yeah, but that's it. That is basically all I can going to bring up because we really have to, get with our interviews and wanted to give them all the time needed. So first we're going to talk with the person who contributed to the intro, Hilary Kennedy. And here we go. Hello, and this is TrendChat, and this is the 100th episode, and you just heard something a little different to the intro. We definitely wanted to bring on someone who contributed to that and wanted to have her to be the first one to talk about being on and doing the intro and how she did it and some other things as well. So we bringing back a returning guest. She is the jovial, the effervescent, and glowing, for reasons we'll mention later, Hilary Kennedy with us. How you doing?
I am doing great, Brian. I am very happy to be back on TrendChat.
So, first off, thank you so much for doing the intro. When I asked you about it, I saw that you did voiceover work, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I should ask her if she wouldn't mind doing a little something, for the podcast. And you said yes. And first off, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It was an honor for me. I love it, and I set up a little home studio, a little recording studio, so I could do voiceovers from home. So anytime I get to do a job in my sweatpants, I am all about it.
yeah, that sounds very convenient, and yeah, it'd be kind of cool to do something like that. So, Now, well, I'm guessing it wasn't like a lot of behind the scenes as far as how that worked. I mean, like you said, you kind of just go in the studio and just do a couple lines. And for you being a professional as opposed to me, because I guess I kind of give a little story that I don't know if I mentioned this before, but on Atlas Shrugged Part 3, there was a scene where people said the words, "Who is John Galt? I am John Galt," and I'm part of that scene, and so for me to be part of that scene, I had to film myself saying those, just those few words, and submit it in, and I was one of the people chosen for that scene. And I tell you, it took me. There are like 100 takes of me saying those couple of words, and it took me almost an hour and a half to say that.
It is. It's funny when you hear your own voice when you're reading lines and you think, do I really sound like that? And then you think, I'm going to just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. But after a while, especially after doing voiceovers this long, I've learned that I'm too lazy to want to do 50 takes of anything. So, so I try and get it done in 5 tries or less. And if it's something short and easy, and also something I'm really excited about, like TrendChat, that's a fun job. There are some other voiceover jobs that are like medical jargon or, stuff about tires that aren't quite as exciting to record. So this is a lot more fun.
Yeah, I can imagine just talking about. I guess when you talk about like medical, so they're like talking about medical devices or like medication or something like that.
Yes.
So also, okay, so
Yes.
you've done voiceover work doing where you go over the symptoms and everything like that.
Oh yeah, I've done voiceovers for training for truck drivers, for tire companies, for architectural firms talking about their new designs. I mean, you name it, I've probably read something about it.
I'm just thinking about just doing the one for like medication when you're going down that list of things that symptoms include intestinal bleeding and stuff like that. I'm like, I can just imagine you reading that like,
Yeah.
ugh.
It's true. The list of side effects is always 10 times longer than the benefits.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned as far as doing voiceovers, another thing I do want to mention is something that happened a couple of weeks ago. And I was in a hotel room just getting ready to check out, and I hear a familiar voice, in the background. And I turn around and look, I see your face on TV, and I'm like, is that Hillary? And and so it was for an app. And so actually I want you to, I guess, give them, here's a free commercial for them, and just kind of tell us about that.
Yeah, it's called the Tackle app, TAKL, and it's an app that people can use to find someone in their area that does, small household chores. Like you need someone to do some landscaping, or maybe you need some minor home repairs, you need a room painted, or whatever it is. They've got all of these background checked providers that do those services in your area so that you can hire someone without having to constantly ask friends for a referral, or, go on Craigslist and look for someone who can do it, or, because there's a lot of random things that you need done around your house that you don't know how to do. It's not like a regular plumbing situation or a regular, drywall thing that needs to be patched. Sometimes you have the most random things happen at your house, and you think, I don't know anybody who does this. So the commercial is for an app where you can, find someone to do those things. Or, if you need somebody to do like some housekeeping or whatever it is, you can find someone on there that's been background checked, so you're hiring someone safe, and skilled that you're bringing into your home. So it's been pretty funny because it's a national commercial. So I've had friends that live all over the country that were like, I'm pretty sure I just saw you in a commercial for an app. And I'll be like, yep, that's me. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. 'Cause as soon as I saw it, I tweeted about it, and I was like, hold on, I'm gonna do. Like, I saw it really quickly, and I didn't see the whole commercial. I just turned around, like, maybe that wasn't her. I like, so I texted you afterwards. I'm like, I kind of did this backwards. I should have texted you first before I tweeted, but
Yeah, it's always fun when you get to do a national commercial because, people you haven't seen in a really long time, if they live in other states or people you haven't talked to in forever, will get in touch with you and be like, hey. So I always tell those people, yeah, it's just me stalking you, showing up on your TV randomly in Vermont or Maine or wherever. So it's kind of funny.
Hello, this is Brian Bledsoe, host of TrendChat, also contributor at Politichicks.com. Here to tell you about the new book called Politichicks, A Clarion Call to Political Activism, with over 300 pages from contributors like myself, talking about topics such as education, social issues, healthcare, the Second Amendment, and of course, activism. I encourage you all to check it out at Politichicks.com, and is also available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Now, I know another thing that we talked about last time you was on was something that it's funny. After we talked, I actually became more of a fan myself, which is the UFC. And and so UFC 225 is coming up, and I guess let's talk a little bit about that because I mean at this time it's probably about a week or so from now, and actually it's funny because 225 is going to be on my birthday, so I guess that's a birthday gift for me is to watch this pay-per-view.
Awesome.
So
that's a great gift to give to yourself.
Now, if I'm mistaken, your favorite fighter is Conor McGregor?
I do love Conor McGregor. Now, I know he's been going through a bit of a PR nightmare recently because he got himself into some trouble. Now, I don't know how much of that was true anger and how much of it is a PR stunt because he's got the money to fight the legal battles. All it did was raise his profile and put his name back in the news because he hasn't fought in the octagon since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's certainly a way to keep his name in the news. And I think he's going back to court in June to kind of explain his actions and what happened with that incident in New York. And then Dana White, the president of UFC, he said that, whether or not Conor comes back and fights in UFC will all kind of hinge on whether or not the punishment that McGregor gets for his latest misdemeanor. So we'll kind of see what ends up happening there. But I hope that he does come back because people are saying that Conor really does want to get back in the octagon and fight again. So I would love to see him back in there.
Yeah, yeah, I have no idea, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a big publicity stunt. It wouldn't. I mean, it would be perfect actually what they did and how they did it. It made it look so real if that was the case. So
right. Well, it made international news. I think people actually did get hurt. I mean, I do think that it maybe went a little further than what Conor expected it to do, but
just got out of hand a little bit.
Yeah, it would surprise me if this had some sort of PR stunt behind it. But either way, I'm still a big fan of Conor McGregor.
Well, maybe they might have some sort of announcement during this pay-per-view because, I mean, I'm looking at the card as of right now. That's one thing I have learned real quickly that these UFC cards change a lot. Even on the day of, I've noticed. But as I look at it, I mean, I see Holly Holm is coming back after that fight with Chris Cyborg. She's fighting Megan Anderson. I
love Holly Holm. I think that she has more heart. So she's lost her last two fights, but I think that she has more heart than a lot of the fighters out there. She's pretty amazing because she was the first one to win world titles in boxing and mixed martial arts, which I think is really cool. I think she's the first one, both whether male or female, which was really cool. And of course, because I am a woman of faith, I love that Holly Holm is a Christian and that she's really outspoken about her faith. She doesn't shy away at all from saying that she's a woman of God. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then Megan Anderson, I didn't know much about. The only thing I really knew about Megan Anderson was that she was supposed to fight Cyborg at one point last year sometime, and then she pulled out of the fight like 2 days before, saying that she had personal issues that came up. So I don't know much about her other than that, and that I think she trained or served in the Australian Army. So other than that, I don't know much about Megan, but I'm excited to see her fight Holly Holm. I just want to watch Holly Holm fight again, honestly. But it seems like they're pretty evenly matched as far as their, their abilities. So I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, even on the UFC site, I mean, there's not much on not even a picture. It just it's just Holly Holm, and then there's like just her and Megan Anderson, and there's no picture. And
shadow, yeah.
Yeah, just a shadow, yeah. The mysterious, but let me see. So so like Rashad Evans, he's going to be on this card going against Anthony Smith, and so if you watch on Fox Sports, he's on the commentary table there. And so he's going to be in the octagon. And now another name that I know a lot because of his wrestling, but I know that he's in the UFC now, is CM Punk is going against Mike Jackson. And so I don't know if you know much about CM Punk. Like I said, I know about him because I'm a wrestling fan. So I've been watching him for years in wrestling. And so I see he's going to be on the card too.
Yeah, I didn't know very much about him either, so I'm going to be interested to see that. Like, some of those guys, that have been wrestling for years and years and years are really good. Once they get people on the ground, they're so fascinating to watch. So that'll be a really cool fight. I am a huge Juilo Rivera fan, and so I'm excited to see him fight Robert Whittaker. They're like the kind of the title fight of the night, and I'm excited to see that because Juilo lost to Robert Whittaker the last time, and so it's going to be kind of an angry rematch to see him come back and try and defeat him. So I think that's going to be a good one.
Well, I can tell you was excited. I was getting to it. I was about to, but the reason I was going to mention, I was just going to mention that last, but I wanted to mention one other thing is because Alistair Overeem is going to be on this card as well, which I'm interested in seeing in particular because if anyone saw his fight against Francis Ngannou, I really want to see how he responds after that fight. So,
yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing how some of these people recover so quickly and come back so quickly. I'm always just like, holy cow, some of these guys are just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't seen it, just Google it. It's one of the most memorable knockouts you'll ever see.
Yep.
Now, it was unfortunate about what happened to Ngannou right after that because then his fight with Stipe was just took him on a clinic, basically. I mean, he couldn't get any offense. For me, it's not something, I just kind of got on to UFC, so it just kind of shocked me. I'm pretty sure people maybe been watching, longer probably saw it coming. But I was like, wow.
We were kind of expecting a little more out of it. Yeah, Stipe really is such a consistent fighter, and I feel like he continues to be a little underrated as far as the hype surrounding him. But people seem really pumped up about UFC 226 in July in Vegas because he's going to be fighting Daniel Cormier, who I really like them both. I mean, I just think, and I've been watching some of the episodes of The Ultimate Fighter, and they're both coaching, and so they both seem like really nice people in real life. So it's gonna, and they come off like they're very good friends too. And so it's gonna be a cool fight to see Stipe and Cormier fight in July.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely can't wait to see. So UFC 226. Yeah. So I can't wait to see that. That's what they call like the super fight. So because you have Daniel Cormier going against Stipe, and then you also have Max Holloway going against. Oh man, who is it? Max Holloway's going against who? I forgot. Ortega, Brian Ortega.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I looked at tickets because I thought, man, since it's in Vegas, I thought, well, maybe I could get a cheap flight to Vegas to go see the fight. But I mean, the tickets, like the nosebleed seats, were like $170 a piece already, and they're going really fast. So I think that's going to be just a sold out arena. I think everyone's going to go nuts that night. It's going to be a really good one.
Well, I really want you to be extra careful now because because right now, I want to mention, if no one knows, congratulations on the baby. And, as far as, I don't want you to take any risk going out to Las Vegas.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I am going to be having a baby in October. So I'm really excited. It's my first one, so I know nothing about having a baby. But I'm learning along the way as I go. So you're right. If I even went to UFC 226, I would probably need to be sitting in the nosebleed seats to stay away from all the action.
Yeah, I have all the confidence in the world that you'll be a great mom, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna have plenty of jokes, and gonna have some new jokes because from this. So, like I said again, congratulations on the baby. Also, thank you again for the intro, and also the other little parts that's going to be included in throughout the podcast as well. So for all that, I appreciate everything that you did, and like I said, I look forward to having you on again.
Oh, well, thank you, Brian. I love coming on the show, and I just appreciate you always keeping me in mind and letting me talk UFC and everything else with you. So thanks for having me back. And congratulations on the 100th episode.
Thank you so much. I had no clue we'll be here, but thank you.
Hello, TrendChat listeners. If you like the Founding Project's Civics Education video series, Civics for All Ages, and our educational meme series, we think you will love our new website. Join us at thefoundingproject.com and be a part of the civics movement. The Founding Project is a 501c3 education nonprofit. Please join us today.
This is TrendChat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
Hello, this is TrendChat. I couldn't think of anyone else to have on this 100th episode than my next guest, because basically, if you're listening to this right now, he's the one to either thank or blame for having TrendChat. And who I'm talking about? I am talking about Juilo Rivera. He is the editorial director of Reactionary Times. He's featured on Newsmax and Washington Times and various other outlets. Like I said, I definitely wanted to bring him on because basically he's the reason why you're even hearing TrendChat. So how you doing, Juilo?
Well, first of all, Brian, I got to tell you first, I thought you had something unique to offer the movement, and I always like, your opinions, watching you on social media and the way you get around, and I know that you're really down for the cause, and you're a true activist. So I was very, very, happy to see you actually go into that direction. I didn't know necessarily that you were going to take the suggestion and do so, but you're doing fantastic. I'm very happy to see TrendChat doing very well, and very happy that you invited me to be on.
I don't know if you remember like your first suggestion of it, because you asked me, was I thinking about doing a podcast, which I said no, because it was something in my mind at that time I thought it required a whole lot of equipment and all that. And so I didn't think twice about it. But then you are the one who, put me on to Spreaker and how I'll be able to do it, a lot more efficiently and being able to do it on the road, because, I'm a truck driver, so it's kind of hard. I can't be in a studio, but I can create a studio in my truck with this app. So
exactly. Isn't it interesting that it's a lot easier to do a podcast from your truck than it is to use the bathroom?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was funny. It was funny because after you mentioned it to me, because the thing about it, I did have an idea for doing something called, and I already had like the logo and the name. I had TrendChat already set in my mind because I already had a logo, but I didn't know what to do with it, honestly. I didn't know if I was going to do like a YouTube thing, or I didn't know what I was going to do. But then when you mentioned about the podcast, I'm like, okay, I can do this because I can use it on my phone or on my tablet or wherever. And so I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to use TrendChat for. So, well, first I wanted to ask you about Reactionary Times. And so, I mean, how did it all come about? I mean, tell us all about it.
Okay, well, basically, I mean, we're a news site. We post a lot of editorials. We talk about the day's news. We actually do a Reactionary Times radio as well, which I'm one of the hosts. Elio Forcina, New York City-based attorney, and conservative activist, is also a host, as well as my friend Christian Semper, who's a rising young voice in the conservative movement. He does a great job on Reactionary Times Radio as well. And we did launch last year Reactionary Times Television, which we ran through, and we're doing weekly episodes for a period. But now we're actually recalibrating. The site is being redone. We should be debuting the new Reactionary Times site in about mid-June, as well as a new show, Reactionary Times TV. It'll still be Reactionary Times TV, but we're going into a different format. We are redoing the technical stuff for the show so that we can actually produce the show more often and on a more regular basis. Our goal is by the end of the summer to be producing a 1-hour show from Monday through Friday. But we're going to start off in June with probably about 2 to 3 episodes a week, which will be streaming live on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, and I believe I forgot what the other one is, but I feel like Rick Perry right now. I know 3 of them, but I can't think of the 4th thing. But it's going to be on quite a few outlets, so it'll definitely be available on social media and whatnot.
All right, cool. Now, I don't know if you mentioned it. Like, how long has the Reactionary Times been going on?
Okay, well, we actually made our debut at CPAC 2017. So last year was when we actually launched. So, you know, in the last year and a half, I think we've made about 300 about, I think we just crossed 300 total postings, whether they were like news stories or editorials or whatnot. And, you know, we've done a lot of episodes of Reactionary Times TV and Reactionary Times Radio. So we're only looking to expand and grow, you know, beyond those kind of numbers for 2018 and beyond. But we're definitely going to be redoing. It's going to be a better quality and a more regularly done television vehicle alongside the radio platform. And then obviously we have some very good contributors that give us stories. People like activist Cindy Gross. We've gotten a lot of stories from David Weissman, my buddy Xander Gibb. You know, there's a lot more contributors to Reactionary Times other than just myself.
Okay. And I know another thing I mentioned too, that, you know, you're featured, you know, a lot on Newsmax as well. And where can they see you on there? Well,
I regularly, you know, maybe like every couple of weeks, I'll guest host Newsmax Now alongside with the regular host, which is John Bachman, or you know, they have different hosts at times as well. They have several anchors over there at Newsmax. But I'm regularly featured on the Brett Winterble Show, as well as America Talks Live with Miranda Khan. And I do have a blog on Newsmax, or, you know, they're basically my editorial home in a sense. I write more for Newsmax than I do for everyone else. But the Austere Constructionist blog, which is regularly updated on Newsmax.com, everybody should go ahead and check out. We got a lot of interesting stuff on there, depending on, you know, where political tides are, you know, shifting.
Okay. Now, we'll kind of go back a little bit about Reactionary Times. I know one thing I remember seeing from you is about, I guess, having problems with Facebook, like, you know, many of us have. But what in particular happened with Reactionary Times with Facebook?
Well, I mean, they started marking independently. I mean, it wasn't even an issue necessarily of anybody reporting our posts, but they just independently decided to start classifying our posts, whether they were news articles, whether they were memes, or just general commentary as spam. And they've led to, you know, our inability to post at times, or the inability to be able to share the posts in different groups. You know, Facebook, let's face it, let's call it for what it is. They're slanted against conservatives. It's happened to Steven Crowder. It's happened to Diamond Silk. And it's happened to Reactionary Times and many others. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of the people in the circles that, you know, you communicate with that are within the movement, this is a common thing where people, you know, they'll get what they call Facebook jail. You know, you get a 30-day, a 60-day sentence, a 1-week sentence. But one way or the other, that's kind of Facebook's way of saying, you know, you got to chill it out with the conservative stuff because we don't like it.
Yeah, I think I've done 30 days, and I think I've done a week as well. So yeah, I've been there as well. So now, have you heard about? Well, I guess Facebook is trying to save face in a way, in trying to bring in groups to maybe to I guess to see about their perceived bias. Now I don't know if you know about this about with like the I think Heritage Foundation and others are coming in to look over Facebook.
No, but I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think it should be, across the board, even and equal. I mean, they should really only be looking for lewd content, lewd, explicit, pornographic, basically just that type of content should be eliminated from Facebook. Because, I mean, according to the terms and conditions, I think the minimum age for Facebook is like 13 or 14. So if you are going to have children on Facebook, yes, there should be some semblance of censoring, for lewd content. But I don't think that's applicable for, political commentary. I mean, political commentary should be allowed. I wouldn't want them to remove, pro-communist or pro-socialist stuff from Facebook because people have a right to their own, opinions. If they want to, I obviously don't agree with it, but, if people want to post things to that effect, I don't think it should necessarily be outlawed or, censored. But, hopefully they'll move into that direction. I think that the people are speaking now, and I think that Facebook is kind of on its back foot and a little bit defensive here, based on, Zuckerberg being called into Congress and, all the controversy surrounding the way the Diamond and Silk were treated. Ted Cruz had asked Zuckerberg directly about the Diamond and Silk issue, which he kind of tiptoed around the question, stating that he didn't really have, direct knowledge of how it was handled. But it's one of those things. People will move on. I think the free market will make its own solution. Eventually, I think somebody will come out, and the great equalizer will be a social media site that, it doesn't necessarily cater to conservatives, but doesn't look to censor conservatives.
Yeah, I know one in particular, this one called MeWe. I've been hearing a lot about. It seems like it's on the rise as far as being an alternative. And I heard of others as well. So I just want to say, again, just thank you for the suggestion of even doing this. Because, like I said in the beginning, if you're listening to this right now, you're the one to thank or to blame. I'm pretty sure there might be some people that don't want to hear me. Like, hey, it's your idea. You're the one that planted the seed. So.
Yeah, if I start getting hate mail, I'll start forwarding it to you, Brian.
Okay. All right. You know what? That hey, just fine. But we'll still be here. And when it comes 200, and then we can just go over all that hate mail.
This is Dana Lash, and you're listening to TrendChat.
Yep, and thanks to Juilo Rivera. Had to kind of cut that a little bit short, but we want to get to our next guest. We're going to speak with Ann-Marie Murrell. So here we go. This is TrendChat, and I don't think this 100th episode would be complete without my next guest, because honestly, if I didn't have her in my life, you wouldn't be hearing me, because I know we talked to other people as far as how the podcast come to be and all that, but honestly, without her, you probably wouldn't hear me at all, because I wouldn't have written anything, and let alone even thought about doing a podcast. And who I'm talking about? I am talking about the founder, owner, and editor-in-chief of Politichicks Ann-Marie Murrell. How are you doing?
Brian, you just made me cry. Thank you. But now I need to compose myself a little bit. Thank you. I got to say, Brian, I am so proud of the work you've done, and you know how I feel about you, because I praise you all over the country. But I'm just proud of you for stepping up the way you have. And I wish more people would, but thank you very much.
Well, thank you for the push. I mean, I think I think we talked about it before on the last interview, and but yeah, thanks for you telling me that I'm going to write for you. And, I mean, when I'm thinking about as far as everything, the past 2 years, and I said it too many times. I never would have thought I'll be doing a podcast or writing or anything 2 years ago. If you had told me that, I was like, you must be crazy. I don't know what. So, but it's all because of you. So, and I definitely wanted to bring you on to, on this 100th episode, on this milestone, because that's another thing where I didn't expect to, to get to 100, let alone doing one. So.
Well, you know what? You started out the same way. I started out the same way you did. Just Andrew Breitbart told me to use my gifts and talents, and I went out and got a video camera, and I started doing reporting across all over California, and that kind of morphed into what ultimately became Politichicks today. But it started out with one person believing in me, and that's what I'm hoping. And I know you will do that. You just pay it forward, and you find talent, and you recognize people that should be out there speaking and encourage them. That's how we win.
Yeah. And speaking of Politichicks, so what's going on with Politichicks, lately? Oh, and also thank you. Thank you for putting me on the Who's list, which that was a very pleasant surprise a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yeah. I'm real proud of you. We've got a little mutual fan club going on between the two of us. But yeah, congratulations for that. We're plugging along. I'm so proud of the work we do at Politichicks. And right now, I have a lot more male contributors than women. This is the first time since we started this that I have a lot more men that write regularly for me now. So it's been really fun to watch how we've changed and grown over the years. It's been, wow, almost, how many years is this? I can't even count up the year. I think I've been doing this for about 8 years now. Is that right? 10? Yeah, since around 2010 or 11. So yeah, so we're doing good, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, I guess it's probably been as long as we've been friends on Facebook. The one thing as far as we became friends on Facebook like years ago, and we met just recently, like 2 or 3 years ago. So when I say we probably became friends 7 some years ago, and went on just chatting back and forth on Facebook, and yeah, so that was like really, really fun. It's, as far as getting a chance to finally meet after all this time. So.
Well, what stuck out with you was your last name, because, as you know, my maiden name is Bledsoe. So I just assumed you were a cousin, and you probably are somewhere down the road, one way or the other. I bet we're related. Because it's a pretty rare name.
Yeah, I come across it a couple of times. I know in Tennessee, Texas as well, and Michigan. Those are 3 places I normally would maybe come across seeing Bledsoe, either on a billboard or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I claim you as a brother. You're young enough to be a son, but whatever.
Either way, it's fine with me, And again, like I said, I've said this plenty of times, whether on air or just talking me and you, and just thank you for all you've done, all the encouragement, for getting me started, basically, and just making, like I said, give me that push that I very much needed, that I didn't even know I needed. So, and I just wanted to bring you on right quick and just to tell you thanks.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And congratulations on 100 episodes. That is epic. And I can't make sure I get to be on your 200th episode and on and on.
All right, you know what? Hey, we got it penciled in right now.
Good.
All right. So, it's Politichicks.com, and it's the Politichicks on Twitter, and Politichicks on Facebook. Now, don't have Instagram yet, right?
Not for Politichicks, just for me. And I don't know. I don't really understand Instagram. I'm too old, I think. Maybe I need to turn that over to you.
Well, Ann-Marie, I really appreciate your time, and we're gonna have you on again.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep, and thanks to Hilary Kennedy, Juilo Rivera, and Ann-Marie Murrell. That's it, everybody. We're at the end. Again, thank you so much to everyone who has been listening. And until next time, we'll chat with you later.